Good morning, everybody. Gonna try to figure this out. Close and more. New managed moderators. I'm live.
No, it's just that. Oh my gosh, Danny. Seriously, dude.
Everybody, the whole world just saw you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just kidding. Nobody's on my channel yet.
Can you?
There's nobody here yet.
Yeah, but can you? I need to come here.
Okay, go.
Não, o Denis tá quero ele virou videogame, né? Aí eu vim aqui ficar sem sutiã.
Okay, we'll try to figure this out. Tools. So, how it's me. Trippy. How do I share that? Right? Right? You know what I mean? How do I share that? Just say share screen.
Could have happened and they decided it was worth it. But we won't know until this conflict is over as to whether or not that calculation is going to pay off for them strategically and certainly politically, as this is an enormously unpopular war here in the United States. It's just a question of whether or not we move on to the next crisis next week, or if we're now rationing gasoline here in the United States, as to whether or not those political effects stick around for the Trump administration.
That's right, and it came even as the talks were taking place between Tehran and Washington on Iran's nuclear program. James Bowden, we also saw these appeals from the U.S., from Trump asking, for the people of Iran to rise up, that this was their moment. But while we did see some celebrations, we've also seen a lot of protests. So that really hasn't happened, this, popular rising up and taking control of Iran.
That is correct. And I continue to really break, in my opinion, on this because, as you said, we have seen both support for the end of the regime, but we have also seen support for the government. And let's understand, the Iranian people are not monolithic. And that is why the US and Israel are painting this in a certain direction, and especially this idea that after the government is gone, that Israel is ready to rush in and help support the Iranian people, I think is largely based on a fallacy and this idea of freezing Iran in a pre-revolutionary concept. So I think that there is a lot of danger assuming that we are going to be embraced. I mean, look, we had this kind of promise when we went into Iraq in 2003. That we were going to be greeted as liberators, and there was going to be a great surge of support and help for the United States to rebuild the government. And we saw the opposite. We saw an extreme insurgency. And so we should be prepared to be looking at a long-term dichotomous picture in which we see people who want a restoration of that government and will fight for it. This is also why I've been very nervous about eliminating so many people of the leadership. We just simply don't know what kind of chaos and confusion that we are unleashing by eliminating people with rank and with authority and who can tell people to lay down their arms and accept a new government. That is very important to retain. And the governments of Israel and the United States have just been bombing around and taking out anybody without really assessing the consequences over the long term.
That's right. And Sanjeev Ori, you're feeling this as, more than anyone being there in Dubai, and really the reaction coming, from the Gulf countries to find themselves the target from Iran of drones and missiles.
Dubai, UAE is the country which is not used to such things happening. This is supposed to be, and it's actually a most safe country.
Yes, go ahead.
Audible?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so that is why, and especially happening it from the Iran, where, the line of war is not Iran and UAE. So that was the surprise for sure, and panic was there. But again, this government is able to manage it well, and things are, I think it's fine here. It's in control here in UAE.
Right, absolutely. But even so, these sort of visuals, are completely unprecedented coming out from Dubai, from the UAE, and none of the Gulf countries would have thought, at least, that they would be subjected to such a targeting coming in from Iran. Coming back to you, Ryan Bohl, and the worry really is.
Hey guys, let me know if you can hear my voice okay, how the audio is. I'm just using my computer, no mics, no nothing. So let me know.
Is the several shocks over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and that's the global effect of this war. That is, it's on the table. But oil traders they're pushing the price up as we speak, and we would expect that tomorrow prices will go up. We're not at the energy shock yet, in spite of the Revolutionary Guards closing the Strait of Hormuz. And that's because supply hasn't been permanently interrupted yet, or at least for the long term. As we're seeing some tanker reports of tankers being targeted, or the Iranian Revolutionary Guards threatening them, that is an important indicator of whether or not we move into a very high oil price scenario very quickly. But that is what we still need to see. And again, it's on the table. It's right there with the U.S. warships being targeted, civilian centers being targeted at scale. Energy targets are part of Iran's escalation ladder. They're moving in that direction. I think it's a question of when they decide to do it and at what scale, because there are gradients of this. They can carry out a major attack on an energy facility like, say, Abqaiq in South.
Ever wondered what home looks like from space?
So that's a good point. I know we're just fresh into this war. I know it's only been, 7 days now. Iran can still do a lot of damage in the oil industry. So let me know what you think in the comments about that. And also, Dubai is getting hit. Dubai is getting hit with suicide drones in residential areas right there in the main city. So that's not good. Let's see, we got some commercials going on here. So
Space. Enter your address and get a free.
Skip through all that.
But I think they're pushed into that corner right now, and it's certainly more viable than we've ever seen in the previous phases of this conflict.
But we've already seen one ship being targeted. James Bowden, coming back to the conflict, the fact that the U.S. and Israel went into Iran at a time when Tehran and Washington were coming to an agreement on the Iran's nuclear program, and now you have, and what does this mean now for diplomacy, conflict in the world? You have China and Russia reacting. Putin has called it cynical, the killing of Khamenei, while China has said it's a grave violation of Iran's sovereignty.
Well, I'd like to comment on something real quick, and that is
Sure.
that I think that the Strait of Hormuz issue has been overinflated. And yes, it is a concern, but the United States has such significant power and material in the Strait of Hormuz, in the Gulf of Oman, that any disruption, any closure is only going to last for a very short period of time. We're not going to see a long-term occupation. I mean, even the United States back in the 1980s was able to quickly address Iranian as well as Iraqi attempts to shut down the entire Persian Gulf and deny that. There was a full-scale military response. And so I think that we're overestimating the capabilities of the
But
Iranians.
one of the ships has already been targeted, and the sailors had to be rescued. There were 15 Indians on board. So would ships want to take this risk right now?
Yeah, I mean, there's no minimizing that ships have been targeted. I don't deny that. I'm just simply saying.
Hey guys, so obviously I'm just testing out this live stream. This is my first time, and I'm just trying to see how it works. I have my microphone now on my shirt, so I think that should sound a little bit better. All right, let's go.
That the June war, I mean, the United States is in danger of losing a large amount of credibility when it seeks to have peace agreements and to enter into diplomatic talks. And now countries have to look over their shoulders and wonder if this is simply a prelude to an attack and just trying to gain time. And that is a very bad image for the United States. And it's also very bad for our long-term interests because we may have some genuine issues that can be resolved diplomatically, but now countries have to be significantly worried that it's not a credible process and that to engage in it is simply going to be meaningless because we know that we're about to be attacked.
Well, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much all, Ryan Bole, James Bowden, and Sanjeev Auri. Thank you for joining us, Sanjeev Auri. Do stay safe there in Dubai. We'll slip into a short break on the other side. All the very latest. Do stay with us. Iran has targeted the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier with 4 ballistic missiles. This is the big breaking news coming in. Remember, the USS Abraham Lincoln had been in the waters there for some time now. They had been stationed there, and now news coming in that 4 ballistic missiles have targeted this US aircraft carrier. This news broken by the Iranian media, Mehr News Agency, carrying this news of the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier being targeted with 4 ballistic missiles. This on day 2 of this conflict that we're seeing in West Asia. Let's go back to Aditya Rajkol now for more. And Aditya, this is news just coming in, very big news. 4 ballistic missiles used to target the aircraft, the US aircraft carrier.
Well, definitely, Gargi. If true, this is huge. This is massive, and this will have huge repercussions because Trump is not going to take it lightly if the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier has been attacked. Even if it is a small fire or a small shrapnel that has hit there, there is going to be huge consequences both from the United States and Israel. Remember, also, for the benefit of our viewers, there's a lot of disinformation that has been coming in from the Iranian side and overall on the social media from both sides. So we'll have to wait and watch whether there is any kind of a confirmation that comes in from the United States as well on this latest news development that's coming in, because it's the Mehr News Agency. It's a state-affiliated news agency in Iran, which is reporting that 4 ballistic missiles hit USS Abraham Lincoln. It's a massive development if it is coming at this hour on the second day of the regional conflict here in West Asia, even as Israel and both Iran are hitting at each other. Israel carried out devastating blow in Tehran on several government buildings affiliated with the Iranian regime. The US also helping out as a cover. Yesterday, we saw the devastation in the morning, and then thereafter, Iranian response, the retaliation that was the strongest in the last 24 to 36 hours. We've seen, of course, devastating scenes from UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and also Kuwait, where several of these locations where, there has been fire, there's been devastation, there have been casualties as well. Now, on your screens is the USS Abraham Lincoln. This is one of the strongest, aircraft carriers that the US Navy has in its possession right now. But if true, if what the Mehr News Agency of Iran is conveying is true, it's a massive, escalation also from the Iranian side, which will see a very strong response. There could be more targeted assassinations and, of course, airstrikes that we could witness in the coming hours and perhaps coming days as well, because it doesn't seem like that there is going to be any kind of ceasefire anytime soon.
That's right, Aditya. And an important point there, yes, this information is coming from the Iran media, so we have to wait for more confirmation. But as Aditya, as you pointed out, this would be, a huge, the U.S. reaction to something like this. The USS Abraham Lincoln, we know, has been deployed in the waters there for, quite some time in anticipation of this strike that took place in Iran. And that is something that, a lot of you defense watchers were looking at very, very closely. And just tell us more and our viewers more about the significance of this massive aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln.
Well, it can take in dozens of aircrafts at any given situation. It was moved for the sole purpose of a deterrence against Iran. That's what we know so far. And for at least 4 to 5 weeks, Israel and United States, I beg your pardon, have been working to in fact create a situation map of what will happen if there is a strike against Iran, or a deadly blow of this magnitude where the Iranian regime, Supreme Commander Ayatollah Khamenei.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives. Let me just tell you what it does. First of all, big tech right now is run by a bunch of elitist people who all happen to vote the same way and who all happen to live